y'all? Welcome back to the Mike J Podcast. This is T Word. I am the People's Champ. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Today we're going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford in their upcoming mega fight and some of the results that may take place after the fight. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate the feedback, and we're almost to our watch time goal. So go ahead and tune in, hit a playlist, and let that thing run and hook your boys up. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see by the title, what happens after the fact? Will the winner move up or down in the pound for pound rankings? And where will the loser go in the pound for pound rankings? Now, before we start on that part, I do want to say I do have a preferred fighters list coming out. It's different from pound for pound. It's my own personal criteria since everybody's pound for pound is different. Preferred fighter list is a mix of people I think that have performed well, as well as people that I just prefer to watch from an entertainment standpoint. Since they got all these crazy criteria pound for pound, I'm making my own and calling it preferred fighter list. Okay, so we're going to do our number one rankings or our first rankings of the year, or first rankings ever, really, coming up after this fight, because the result of this fight is going to impact that list. That said, as far as pound for pound goes, this is that list that gets put out by ESPN and Ring and et cetera, all these different outlets. And the basic criteria, from my understanding, is you have demonstrated skills that would translate from one weight class to another, meaning you don't necessarily have to compete in a different weight class, but your skills need to seem to translate. And this is outside of heavyweight fighters, that you could get in there at any weight class if all things were equal, and you could fight the best at any weight class if things were equal and become victorious or have success. And I believe that these two fighters, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, both either have demonstrated the requisite skills or have actually moved weight classes. So let's start with Terrence Crawford, since he's actually marked off that criteria of competing in multiple weight classes. He's become a titleist, even undisputed in one weight class, and he's earned at least one belt in two others. This tells me that this man is a pound for pound fighter and deserves to be at the top of the rankings, no matter what you believe about his opposition. If he is to win this fight, he deserves the number one ranking. Hands down, simple and plain. Doesn't matter how much of a fan of a fighter you are. If you're a fan of boxing, then you have to rank Terrence Crawford number one if he's to become two-time undisputed with the four-belt era, first of any human being on the man side. So I would say he'd be number one. Now, in a loss, I'd say I'd put him, depending on if Noriega Inoue wins or loses against Stephen Fulton, I'd put him at 2 or 3 even with the loss, because now you're losing to the undisputed champion of your division, and you've come up and had success at a third weight class, and you put yourself in position to fight for undisputed. So I would still put him in the top 2 or 3. However, there's a good argument that somebody like Jermell Charlo, Noriega Inoue, etc., do deserve to be ranked above him if he is to lose to Spence. However, I'm still going to say Crawford's 2 or 3. Now, on the other side, Errol Spence Jr., if I'm not mistaken, has never been ranked higher than number 2, and he's slowly worked his way up the ranks. Because he hasn't competed in other weight classes, I find it hard for many people to rank him above 2 when you've got other people, 2 or 3, because there's other people above him that have competed in multiple weight classes, including Noriega Inoue. Now, if the monster is victorious and Errol Spence is victorious, it's still hard to move him past Inoue, because he has competed. He'll have won in 4 weight classes and won titles in 4 weight classes. So it'd be hard to put him up there. So that'd be a nice, strong debate to have, and reasons why you think Errol Spence's skills would translate to different weight classes. Now, if he was to lose, obviously, I would say he still belongs in the top 5, because you'll have lost to the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world and the biggest fight of both your careers. And then there's also the rematch. So depending on if they select to have a rematch, that might impact the rankings as well. So as far as pound for pound goes, I don't really see either of these guys moving too far from where they're at, except I think in the loss, Spence still drops further than Crawford. I see him in the top 5, and in some people's ranking, maybe even top 6, but I don't see him falling below that. Terrence Crawford, win, lose, or draw, is going to be top 2 or 3 no matter what. Potentially number 1 with the win. So in my opinion, I don't think this fight is going to be as impactful on the rankings as it is on the history books, because we will crown a 4-belt era welterweight champion for the first time ever, and we might potentially crown a 2-time undisputed champion. So there's some things to consider right there. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Are the pound for pound rankings going to change much based on this fight? And how much influence will the result of Fulton Inoue have on the pound for pound ranking of the winner and loser of this fight? You guys give me your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been T. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.